All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Rise Urban Nation podcast. I'm your host, Taryell Simmons, and always we're here to spotlight Black and Pan-African innovators shaping the world with their brilliance. Today, we're diving in the captivating world of filmmaking and storytelling. Our guest, Tanisha Cardwell, is in the building. So now, Tanisha is an accomplished writer, director, independent filmmaker with over 7 years of experience in the film industry. She's a master at using storytelling to connect audiences to missions and create impact and create meaningful impact. Tanisha's journeys from event coordination to directing and producing films is nothing short of inspiring. If you are someone who's passionate about filmmaking, creativity, and making connections through stories, you have to stay tuned for this one. This one is going to be a banger for you. And we got to thank, who we got to thank, T? Like, who's the person that connected us together?
Oh, we got to thank Hayes. We got to thank Hayes. She is an amazing woman with so much drive and so much passion for her industry, being a stylist, being a designer. It's wonderful to see her work. And I'm glad that I have met her and that she's someone that respects me because I highly respect her.
Yeah, and if y'all don't know Hayes, Hayes was on the show previously, so check out our episode. Now, you just recently, I don't know recently, but not too long ago, did something with Hayes. What'd you do with Hayes?
Yeah, me and Hayes actually, I really don't even know which one is. They kind of intermingle, but we were working with FFE magazine on I think it's their fall edition. We were working on that, so we did like a photo shoot for that. She styled me for that. And then I also filmed her giving her speech at a college, just inspiring other young fashion designers and just talking about her journey. I gained a lot of perspective and respect for her as an artist from that.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm glad that she connected us. Welcome to the show. Let's start by getting to know you. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led you into the world of filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah, for sure. I graduated from University of Maryland with a finance degree, and I was geared up to get into corporate America, but I was not enthused. So I kind of like right as I was about to graduate, a guy had approached. He actually didn't approach. He had another female like approach us in the club and was like, "Hey," she was like, "Hey, I model for such and such. Do you guys want to model?" And it was me and my best friend. We were like 21 at the time. Of course, we want to model. You know, we cute. Let's do it. So it started modeling, and that parlayed into filmmaking. And I had always had a passion for storytelling. I used to write, like, fill up a journal with a story and bring it to school for my classmates to read. And I was just very excited about their reaction. So I knew that storytelling was in my future. And I didn't necessarily know how. I always was enamored with the film and entertainment industry. So naturally, when I was in college, after doing modeling and stuff like that, there was a guy who talked about this like casting site. And he was like, "Yeah, you can get on it and do some things." So I was like, definitely. And after I did that, I kind of just dove in.
Man, that's what's up. Shout out to University of Maryland. Go Turks.
Yes.
Look, so here's another little connection that I'm just now realizing. I'm from the DMV area, so I grew up in DC, Northwest DC. So I got some love for the Terps. I got some love for the Terps. Wait, so did you grow up in DC or you just went to school out there? I mean, Maryland.
Yeah,
where'd you grow up?
I grew up in PG County. I'm a PG County.
What? Get the heck out of here!
Pretty Girl
So
County.
you know about that go-go. You know about the look. You know about the chicken wings and what kind of sauce?
Mambo sauce.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew it was family. I knew it was family. Soon as we came on it, look, I had my family just ship me out a bottle because I can't. I'm in San Diego, California. I can't get no mambo sauce out here. I can't. they look at me like, what is he talking about?
Right. Right. You're just like, all right, just hand me that other stuff y'all got over here.
Yeah. So like I should have known it was a vibe as soon as we came through.
Yep.
So
Yep.
wait. So are you still out there now? Or where you at
No,
now?
so I live in San Diego now. I live in Linda
Okay.
Vista. So right like a couple exits past Fashion Valley Mall.
Okay, we gotta link up. We gotta link
Uh-huh.
up since we both out here right now, and we gotta bring the DC flavor to these folks. They
For
don't know.
sure. Taste it like none other.
So now hold on, because filmmaking is one of the things you do. You do event coordination too. Do you blend both of the two
Yeah.
together?
So
Tell me
yeah,
how that worked out?
those are two separate things. So I actually kind of fell into marketing and event coordinating as like, as a creative, you got to have something else going on that's more stable. So
Man,
marketing and event coordinating was the more stable path, and it allowed me to work alongside, it allowed me to have film alongside my
yeah,
work career, so
yeah.
that's kind of how I fell into that. A friend introduced me to something marketing related. It was like a brand ambassador gig. I said, all
Hmm.
right, cool. Like, I'll do it. And started
Hmm.
doing it, gaining more experience. And I just continued in that field while alongside making films.
Yeah. That's the same here. So the day job is definitely different from what I do here at the
Yeah.
podcast and all the creative stuff I do. And then So I grew up in the Nigerian household. My dad's Nigerian, so they don't believe in arts
Yes,
as a
yes. It's
career. So
not, yes.
my friend, arts. What is that? How will you pay your bills with the
Yeah,
arts?
yeah.
Yeah, my friend, go study your books. You're going to college to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. That's
That's
all.
it.
That's
That's
all
all
I
you
heard in my
got.
house. The art was out of the question.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Anything creative. So,
Facts. My dad
uh,
was not necessarily all enthused about, and I have the African American parents, so
yeah.
they still, my mom was kind of, she was more supportive, like
Uh-huh.
from the get-go, but my dad was like, you got your finance degree, right? You can always, you guys should be doing that, did you look into any finance jobs? And I'm like, Dad, don't fail now.
Well, and that's the challenges of the journey of when you're trying to do something like from the creative side that you love,
Yeah.
like it has those hurdles. And I know every journey has its hurdles. Um, I, what are some of the challenges you face, as an independent filmmaker?
um Funding is always a problem, right?
Hmm.
Finding funding, and also not, since I didn't go to film school and I got a degree in finance, well,
Yeah.
the people I associate with are in finance, in the world of finance, accounting, and that kind of stuff. So when I started doing filmmaking, I had no connections. I had no other
Yeah.
storytellers or DPs or anybody else like that in my circle. So trying to find those people that are willing to create with you is always a challenge.
Hmm.
I remember watching the documentary, Steven Spielberg's documentary on HBO Max, and I was getting so jealous because this
Yeah.
man, like his friend group was people like Quentin Tarantino and
Mm.
Martin Scorsese, like other heavy hitting directors. It's like, that's your circle. No wonder you're
Yeah.
gonna make it. You and all your friends are gonna make it because you all are like locked in, and they were willing
Yeah.
to help each other along the way, like show up on each other's sets, give their opinions. When you don't have that, it's kind of like you're moving alone.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that is one of the most difficult things, just not having that group of people.
Yeah. And I agree with that because sometimes we don't have that circle of friends or people. But I think it's even more challenging with black folks because I look at stories like uh what's the girl who made
Oh, you talking about yeah, Issa Rae.
Issa Rae, right? Like, and she talk about her challenges. I mean, she started really low budget, but she got the people around her,
Yeah.
and then even you know seeing how she has evolved throughout the years. I think we're in a new era now where you got different platforms like Netflix and so forth where you
Hmm.
can kind of shop your stuff. But back when she was coming up, I don't think she had all those things, and so I'm pretty sure it
No.
was harder then.
I mean, thankfully she had YouTube,
Yeah.
because the series is still on there, and that helped. Because another thing that I realized, and I have like some filmmaking friends now in San Diego. There's a couple in particular that comes to mind. They have like a script and they want to film it. It's a feature film, which is a huge feat in itself. Like there's so much coordination that it takes to put together a feature film. And one of the things that I kept hearing from them is like, we got to find funding to do it. We got to find funding to do it. And I'm like, nobody wants to, and it's kind of like this cycle. Nobody wants to give money to people who haven't done it, but it's hard to do it without funding. So it's like, where do you start, you know? And I told them, you got to just use the resources you have. When I did the reality show that I did, it was, I don't know, a couple of months after being in San Diego. I didn't know anybody. I just had to get on Instagram and start cold reaching out to people with my plan for my project and just trying to get people on board. Because once you have something tangible to bring somebody with money or with resources, then they're like, oh, okay, this person is serious. I'm willing to help.
I like that. I like that. Now, so I mean, how do you navigate challenges like that with limited resources? You got rejection.
Yeah.
You got finding the right team. How do you really navigate that to overcome those obstacles to even get to a viable product, a minimum viable product?
I think that the biggest thing is being organized, right?
Yeah.
Because if you come to somebody when you don't have the project and you're trying to basically pitch the project to them, pitch it to whoever you want to help. Well, the more you can show that you have it together, the more they feel like, okay, I just need to show up and play my role. I don't need to kind of pick up the pieces. The chance for this project to not be anything or to not be good or to not be something I want to put my name on is lesser because this person is coming to me with a plan. So I think that is the biggest part, being organized and having that plan. I mean, it helped connect me to so many people because I already had like the shoot dates laid out. I had locations. I had what I wanted to do with the project. I had so much coming to the table to pitch. But people was like, oh, all right, she got the train already going. I'm trying to be on it.
Yeah. You just had me thinking I need to introduce you to Michael Taylor because I used his studio before too. And he helped shoot the KPBS special Fresh Glass where what's the black founder of the black wine company out here, man, I don't know why the names are escaping me right now because I think y'all will work well together to create the show. But let's talk about the success a little bit because you got the t-shirt on. So tell people about this reality TV show that you cooking up, tell them the name of it, the concept. Give us it, and for those who are on YouTube or if you listen to the audio experience, go check out the YouTube. You can see the fresh shirt she got on. Hopefully she got some.
I know, right?
Hopefully we got some gear later on that we can go support, buy the shirt so we can invest in this project. We want to get the merch up because this merch is looking nice.
I was giving them out at my rap party, so yeah. I mean,
we gotta put the merch site up for sale so we can get the dollars up, please, ma'am, please. But tell about the reality show.
Yeah, so the Spectrum reality show came, like I said, just a few months after I moved to San Diego. I was having a very difficult time getting on a set. Here, moving in San Diego, moving in the film industry in San Diego is much more difficult than moving on the East Coast because I'm from Southern Maryland, D.C. area, and it's an emerging film market. So everybody is just excited. They're ready to hustle. They're ready to work with who's ever ready to work with them. So on the East Coast, I managed to get myself a lead role in a feature film that got distributed by BET. No manager, no nothing like that, right? So I come from that and come over here, and it's like, I can't get on a set as an extra. I was like, dang, that's, I don't even know how to feel about
that's a harsh reality right there. Like, dang.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I got to change. I got to do something different here. What is the thing if I want to do this thing? So I was like, okay, what is easier to do? Scripted, reality. Reality is really easy because I don't need a script to do that. Okay, what do I want to shape that reality show about? Maybe other creators that are feeling like me, feeling like they don't have a place in this market. Okay, how can I make this a larger thing? Maybe I can get local businesses involved in the project. How do I join the two? So I basically thought about a concept where I cast a group of, I think the first season was 8, and then the second season I did 6, but a group of not necessarily influencers, but like models who are, they want to represent brands, they want to take photos, they want to do those kind of things. And
Mhm.
I basically challenged them to create some type of marketing tool for a small business that we had feature on the episode. So every episode was a
Mm.
different small business, and every challenge was a different marketing tool. So one day the cast members will come in, and it's like, hey, you guys need to create a 30-second reel for this brand. You're going to have an
Mhm.
hour to film. You're going to have 72 hours to like put together what you film, like edit it and put it together. We're going to bring you guys back in and we're going to judge what you created. And
Mhm.
so it's just a pretty cool concept because you got to see models be more than just models. You got to see them being the thinkers behind, and this is where my day job comes in. You get to see them be
Uh-huh.
the thinkers behind a marketing strategy for this brand or a marketing tool for this brand.
Ooh-wee.
And then the brand itself got these different marketing tools that they can now put on their Instagram. They can now put on their, whatever social media platform they have, they can now use those to promote their brands in the community. So,
That's dope.
mhm.
That's dope. I mean, because that's a great strategy right now, and um, I can see all of that clearly making an impact. Let's talk about the strategies that strategy right there, because I feel like that's a whole strategy right there
Yeah,
for success.
yeah,
What are some key approaches that you think will allow, you know, other brands like a Netflix and so forth to tap into this,
yeah.
right? To use it to
So
their advantage.
right now, what I have noticed is that Netflix and other streaming platforms, but Netflix, I think more heavily than other streaming platforms I've seen, they're leaning into female focused content, and they're leaning
Mhm.
into female focused content where females are in power positions, right? So
Gotcha.
um, not just Bad Girls Club where they're being catty and they're kind
Uh,
of one dimensional, but leaning into where these females are looked upon as like authority figures to a certain extent.
mhm.
And with this show, the first season was all female. It was all female crew, all female cast, all female small business owners. So
Yeah.
really leaned into that female diversity too, because diversity in my cast was very important. With
Mhm.
season 2, I added an element of male presence, but it still was very heavily female focused.
Mhm.
And now with influencers and social media personalities becoming very popular and very useful for businesses that don't necessarily have a large marketing budget, this is an opportunity for a platform like Netflix or like Hulu to bring put on a show that not only aspiring creatives would want to see and want to connect with
Yeah.
these people, but small business owners can look at and be like, oh, okay, that was a nice kind of idea that didn't take a lot of
Mhm.
money to create, and I can adopt some of that in creating some content for my small business. Because
Mhm.
if you're not working in marketing as a small business owner, you're focusing on whatever it is that you do. So if you're a shoemaker,
Facts.
okay, you're focusing on making shoes. You're not focusing on, something creative to do for, marketing. But if you can take a shortcut and you can watch this show, you see, on one of the challenges, you see these cast members put together this bomb, like reel of this shoe or something like that. You're like, oh, I could do that. And it only took
Yeah.
them because the show focuses on the behind the scenes element, like the actual
Yeah.
creative process. Well, they can see that, oh, okay, it just took them this one camera and they did like these 3 angles and then they just kind of clipped it together like that. I could do that. Like I got
Yeah.
an hour and a half to do that, So
Yeah, that's how it accidentally happened for me because this, as you know, the podcast started as a passion project, but it was also I didn't realize how much of a marketing tool it could be for the individuals who come on the show who have different brands and so forth,
yeah.
and how it even became a marketing tool to level up my brand, and then people started to look at me as the voice for certain things, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh shoot, I didn't know that was gonna happen. All
Uh-huh.
right, so should I be creating product now? Like,
Uh-huh.
what should I be
Right.
doing?
Right. What can I do with this?
Yeah, like, what should I do with this? Now, I'm curious. Could you share some of your insights of how you kind of use storytelling to connect with audiences?
Yeah, of course. So with let's say, you mean in the marketing world or in filmmaking?
in filmmaking, it probably transitions into the marketing world too.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's like some synergies,
Yeah.
but if there's something different, unique that you want to dive into, feel free to
So
merge the two.
I'll try to keep it. I'll try to touch both by keeping it specifically broad, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
that works.
People in general are connected to story. When you
Mhm.
remember, when you think about something in your head, right? When you think about a fragrance, when you think about like a city that you enjoy going to, well, there's a story that is connected to that. You went with so and so, and you guys freaking like fumbled around the city so much, and it was such a great time, right? And that's the story that's playing in your head. And when brands are able to tap into that story, they're able to reach you further than just
Mhm.
whether you want something or whether you need something. It becomes more of a this relates to that. So
Yeah,
now I want to, now I want that thing, right? So
yeah.
I'll get a little bit more specific with it in terms of like how I connect with people, right?
Mhm.
It's important for you to know something about that person that you want to connect with or hear something that they're interested in, because now you're able to formulate a story to connect you to, you know?
Yeah.
When I talk to people, I often, it's a trick, and I mean, it's not bad. I feel like people should use it.
What?
I often let people talk to me. Like when I approach them, hey, how you doing? What is it that you do? I let people talk to me, and then little things that they say, I will ask them certain questions to get them to tell me more about their story. So now, once I begin to tell you, if I'm trying to connect with you for a certain reason, or if there's something, a project I want you to work on or something, I'm going to connect that to your story. And it's
Yeah.
just like creating a story on the go, because people are innately connected to story. If you watch um when you watch advertisements now, when you watch advertisements from years ago and then you watch advertisements now, the advertisements from years ago are quite
Mhm.
hilarious to watch.
They
It's
are.
kind of like here's this project, you need it. It's 1999, right? You and it's like hilarious. You watch that
Facts.
and you think that's so cheesy. I'm not gonna buy that. Nowadays, you got Volkswagen with this commercial of like a child riding in the back seat, and the mom like looking through the mirror, and the child's back there like swinging her feet and smiling,
Mhm.
and then like something dangerous happens, and the car has like the auto stop or whatever the case, and the car like
Yeah.
stops, and the mom is like relieved, and she looks back at her daughter. That's a
Uh-huh.
story. That's a story of being a mom
Uh-huh.
and being concerned about your child. And this car just saved that mom and her child, who she's really concerned
Yeah.
about. Now that's the story that's gonna play in your head when you see Volkswagen now. You see it driving down the street. Damn, that kid was
Mhm.
saved in that commercial. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I know people who buy products just because of that connection,
yes, yes.
right?
And
Like
and
like we connect to those stories.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in filmmaking, you have people. I knew a person specifically that would buy certain things they've seen in a movie, because in the
Mhm.
movie, let's say it's a belt. In a movie,
Yeah.
that's the belt that the hero wore. So
Yeah.
now I want to go buy that belt because I want to be a hero.
Yeah.
It's funny how the brain works, but story
It
and
is.
connection is how it goes.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I don't know. So, about my ADHD brain, like when you was talking, when he's like, "Oh, I trick people into talking to me," I was like, "She could be a podcaster." And then the other thing, the other part of me was like, "Come and talk to me. I really want to meet
Yep.
you."
Oh,
I knew you was gonna know
of course.
it. uh, but no, like what you're saying is so valid because I'm thinking about the products that I buy just because I'm so connected to their story. Like so, one brand right now that comes to mind is Uncle Nearest. Uncle
Mm,
Nearest is um a whiskey brand that the slave he was a slave who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. A black woman
mm,
brought this whiskey brand back to life, telling the story of it,
mhm.
and like she's out here killing it. And the story is that her IG, she's always storytelling about
Yes.
her family bringing the brand back to life and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm I'm always gonna keep a bottle of this Jack Daniels
Uh-huh.
whiskey because this is our ancestors' wildest dream. You
Yep.
brought the brand back to life. Jack Daniels said, "Yeah, that's the the guy who taught us how to make whiskey."
That's
You went
crazy.
and got she went and got the next family member, brought them into the business, and grew this. It just like reclaimed something from our ancestors
Yes.
and brought it back and made it a $1 billion business.
Yeah.
And so like I forever will have that in my house now
Mm-hmm.
because that speaks to me. That story speaks to me,
Yes.
right?
Yes, exactly. And that's how it goes. That's amazing. I did hear
Yeah,
about that story too. I don't drink, but I did hear about that story. I think it was like at Thanksgiving. Somebody
yeah.
had mentioned that a couple years ago.
Yeah, so her story is amazing. So,
Hmm.
if you get a chance to watch her little documentary or follow on Instagram, and I think she invests in. She's been doing stuff down there, invest in other black creatives and black
Yeah.
um things. So, definitely check her out. Um, what do you think is the unique power of storytelling in today's world, especially for Black and Pan African creators?
I think the unique power of storytelling is the ability to connect, right?
Yeah,
So if when you see a person that you don't necessarily fit, like when you see people walking along the street or whatever, you're
yeah,
not really connected to that person just because they're human and just because you see
yeah,
them, right? Let's say when you go to a different country, right? And you are everything is foreign and everything is new and you're just not you're feeling a little out of place, especially if you go by yourself. Well, the first
hmm,
American you see, regardless of even what ethnicity that person is, when you see an American, like you hear their voice, you stand in a coffee line or whatever,
hmm,
you hear their voice, you're like, that person's from America. That
yeah,
person, there are things about them that I know just culturally, just being from America, that person's
well,
probably a little louder than, the rest of the people here if you're in like Japan or something. You're
hmm,
connecting to that story that's in your head about you being American or from America. Um, it just allows you to automatically have a connection with another human being without it being built,
yeah,
because strong connections are built over years,
hmm,
spending time with that person, learning more about that person, learning more about their story. That builds a strong connection. But an
yeah.
initial connection is built with story.
I love that. I
Hmm.
love that. So we need to tap into that story a little bit more.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, let's talk about lessons and advice you can give to
Yeah.
folks. Now that we've heard your incredible journey and success,
Yeah.
let's dive into some of the lessons you've learned along the way. What advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers or storytellers, particularly those from Black or Pan African descent
Yeah.
in our diaspora communities?
Yeah. Um, I would say one big thing is one big thing I try to tell creatives, um, do not isolate yourself. So I know people like they feel like sometimes they feel like they're on an island by themselves and they're like, not really wanting to go to networking events and stuff like that, not feeling enthusiastic
Hmm.
about them. That is the worst thing you can do as a creative. Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say just as a creative, just as a person in general, any industry you work in, like once you start moving to a certain level, connections
Mhm.
is going to propel you further. It's not going to be necessarily about what you know or how good you are at what you do. Nobody will know or give a damn because they're not connected to you. They didn't meet you at, this event or that event. Um, Networking is one of the biggest things you can do as a creative. And that is what I've learned. That is what has helped me even be able to do the things that I do in San Diego and move the way that I'm able to move, is just being open to showing up to those events, right? And then once you show up, being open to talk to people, because you can't sit in a corner and just look around. Because it's a networking event, there'll be some people who are really outgoing and they may approach you, but you don't know who
Mhm.
you need to talk to in that room until you start talking.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that earlier when you mentioned shoot, what's his name? How his network was just crazy. Just he was meant to be successful as a filmmaker because of his network of friends around him.
Oh
Who did you
yes.
mention
Oh
earlier?
yeah. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg,
Yeah.
and I've heard, networking advice given so many times on the show. There's like people have said, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
What's the other one? It's not what you
It's
know.
who you
It's
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like for me personally, when I talk to the students, I was like, I do you one better. It's who knows you,
Yes.
uh,
Right.
because I've networked to the point in my life now that my name gets mentioned in rooms that
Yes.
my feet haven't even
Yeah.
touched. That's how we got
I know.
connected.
That's how we got here.
I wasn't even in the room. She said, "All right, I'm gonna talk to somebody here," and then some of my best deals happened with me not even being there because somebody, brought
Yeah.
me to
Brought
the
you up.
table or brought me to the space.
Hmm.
And so, like, if you can start networking and get to the point where your network is networking for you,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's the ultimate flex right there.
Yes. And that's actually to that point. It kind of takes me to another point in terms of networking and the person you are speaks volumes, right? If
Hmm.
you are, how do I put this? Because I don't want to say like not if you're a bad person. If you are a person,
A person of character,
right?
a
Exactly.
good character. Yeah.
Exactly. The more you can be consistent in your character, the more people feel safe in mentioning your name. Even if, unfortunately, you're an asshole, right? Let's say you're an
Mhm.
asshole, but you are, oh, sorry, I don't know if I could curse. Um,
Nah, we speak French on this
okay,
show.
okay. um, but you are consistently that way, and you're also consistently like a workaholic at something, that you're
Mhm.
focused on. Like you're just when you're an AD on set, you're an assistant director on set. Like you're not the nicest person, but you're gonna get it done, right?
Yeah,
Well, people will know that. People will know
yeah.
that, and they'll remember that because every time you showed up on set, you was like that. Now, if you weren't, if you were like super nice on this set and then super agitated on this set and then people are not gonna mention you because that type of inconsistency, they don't know what bag they gonna get or what bag they're
Mhm.
telling another person about. So
Yeah,
yeah, the more you can be
that's facts.
consistent.
Consistency is key.
Yeah,
In how you show up,
yeah,
how you network, how you market yourself, how you story it. Like if you consistently do things and do them to a set rhythm,
yeah,
eventually you're gonna get the results, and the results are gonna come. So just keep putting in the work, keep
yeah.
putting your 10,000 hours in, and then on that 10,001 hour, watch what
There you go. It's
happens.
gonna pan out. It's gonna
It's gonna pan out. It's gonna pan out.
pan out.
Man, I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
All right, I could talk to you forever, but I don't do the Joe Rogan type podcast.
Okay.
Especially me, you gotta catch up because now I know you from the DMV.
We gotta
we
link up.
gonna be we gotta link up. We
Yep,
gotta link
yep.
up.
I'm with it.
All right, so let me see. I mean, this has been such an insightful conversation, but before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want you to really tell the listeners how they can follow your work. Tell them where can they, I don't know if it's on YouTube, the show yet,
Yeah.
where can they advocate for you? Where can we go to sign a petition and say, hey, yo, Netflix, Hulu, y'all better holler at your girl. Like she got the sauce out here. And I don't mean mambo sauce. I
That's
mean, she got the
right,
sauce.
right. Um, so my Instagram is at here to astonish. So it is HERETOASTO_NISH.
Okay.
And the Instagram for the reality show is the spectrum_reality show. And it would be
Okay.
nice for people to like follow that and just like a couple things, just show some interest because now when you go and you're trying to pitch a project, they're looking at what type of following you have before you even get
Mhm.
through the door. So,
Okay.
so that kind of thing is helpful. That's kind of like signing the petition. If you go there and you like some pictures, you follow the page, there you go. You are signing the petition for a Black female filmmaker to make it. So I appreciate you.
So all my aspiring creators, Rise Urban Nation, go follow my girl right here. Go. Let's get the show
Yes,
numbers
let's
up,
do it. Let's
please.
do it.
Let's show some love and some support, so that we can get these numbers up, get it on Netflix, get more of us on the culture,
Yes.
moving things forward. Um, Tanisha, thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing your journey, your wisdom with us today. To our listeners, if you've inspired by today's show, make sure you follow. Don't worry if you're driving. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't. I don't want you to get an accident and none of that stuff. Don't worry. I'm gonna put the links in the show notes. I'm gonna get it from us so you could just hit the links in the show notes later and get to there.
Yeah.
As always, don't forget to subscribe to Rise Urban Nation podcast. Leave us a review. Share this episode with your network. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories in the upcoming episodes, and let's keep rising together.
I love it.
Peace.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Ah!
I love it.